Welcome back.
Yep.
Oh my god, to episode 9 of Generations Behind. I am your lovely host, one of three, Mr. Craig of Craig's Game Room. To the side of me, Mr. Zach Daily Beating. Zach, how are you today?
I'm doing well, other than the random sudden allergy wave I'm experiencing this very moment, but we're
Yes.
gonna push through this.
Yes, before we started recording a minute ago, it sounded like a couple of demons just flew out of his nose. Like
Yeah,
he's been truly exercised. I hope you're okay. If you need to
I'm
step
still fighting.
away, it's going to be okay. Below us,
Yeah,
the
I'm good.
luscious one, Tyler Haight. Tyler, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Finished Paper Mario a couple days ago. Prepped myself together for this episode, ready to talk all about it, talk about what I've been playing, collection pickups, and some history.
All that good stuff. Tyler, in natural Tyler fashion, the last one of us to start Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, but also the first one to finish it because that's just on brand for him, which I thought was very funny.
Yep.
Um,
I
Had to
think I
do
was
it.
the opposite.
yeah, I think you did start it before all of us. That's true.
Yeah, started
So
it in May.
yes, and you're almost done. We'll get to that soon.
Yeah,
So we're very excited to talk to you guys all about Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. I know that we kind of seemed a little bit down on it talking about it a few weeks ago. I think that we've all kind of had a bit of a change of opinion, which is good. I know I have definitely. So it's gonna be fun to get into all that. Our next episode, if you all want to write in, you can always write into the show, is going to be on our favorite GameCube games. So make sure to write in. The link is going to be in the description below for that. And other than that, I guess we can get into it. Before we talk games, I need to talk some real life with you guys because I needed to just vent this and make sure that I'm not a crazy person. Outside of my house, since Wednesday, we're recording on Sunday. I've lived in this house that we rent in for a little over 2 years now. The same people have lived 4 houses down the same amount of time. This neighbor's been parked in front of my house for 5 days. A little rude, right? Like, I'm not crazy.
But
Because
is their parking situation full, or
no,
they
they're
just
no,
for no
their
reason?
their driveway is empty. Their driveway is empty.
They're just for no reason.
Yeah. So I've been parking around the corner because I'm like, I'll be the bigger person. I don't want to just park in front of another neighbor's house because mine is unavailable because I leave the driveway for my wife. But I'm just like, and I tried looking it up online because I was like, is like this is just like common courtesy neighborly unspoken rule, right? You don't park in front of someone's house for multiple days. And they're like, no, yeah, it's really rude. You can't do anything about it legally, but it's a douchey thing to do. And I'm like, well, they've been here for 5 days and I can't do anything about it legally, and it's just driving me nuts. So
That's unfortunate.
it is
Y'all should box
unfortunate.
them in and then teach them a lesson.
oh, there you go. That's what I would do.
That's why I was looking for some good advice. I don't know how petty we can be without getting in trouble, but I just had to let
Slash
them
their
know.
They're in front of your house.
I am not going to slash their tires. That's the best
Nobody
part,
needs to know.
It's like everyone in the world has a Ring camera right now, so it's like you can't really get away with that stuff, even if you really wanted to. But I'm
It's in
just,
front of your house. Looking at your Ring camera or what?
I mean, I could just be like, yeah, we don't pay for the thing where it does recordings. You could just check the live footage.
Yeah.
But I just had to say something because all of you out there, don't park in front of your neighbor's house for like a week. It's just kind of uncool. Park around the corner if you're just gonna leave your car there. Be a
Just
better
get a piece of
person.
paper, smack it on their car window, say, watch my podcast or get out of here.
You know what I
There
did
you go.
do is yesterday I did leave a note on their car. I said, hey, please don't leave your car here, for an extended period of time. And they just took the note off.
Ooh.
And I was just like, now I feel like there's gonna be a war coming. But
Start parking in front of their house and make it strange. I don't know, like whatever y'all are game you are playing. Like,
I mean, it's an
Park in front of their
idea.
driveway.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
This has just really been eating away with me since like Wednesday because I'm just like, come on, like I don't know, just be considerate.
yeah, that's weird.
It's very hot outside, when you get at home from a long day of work, you just kind of want to park in front of your house and go in, not walk outside in the heat, 110
The simple
degrees.
things.
Exactly, it's the little things. So, back to games. Had to let it out there. I thought you guys might get a good chuckle out of the ridiculousness of it. But I guess we could go ahead and start, as always, with what we've been playing. Zach, why don't you go first? What have you been playing?
So obviously Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. Other than that, I think in the span of like a week and a half, I put 30 hours into Nintendo World Championships somehow.
You went crazy.
That's it.
I that's the main reason why I was so delayed on Paper Mario because I just couldn't stop playing Nintendo World Championships. Yeah, I love that game. It's just emulating NES games like in vertical slices, but it's working for me. I'm having a good time with it, even though it doesn't have leaderboards and it's missing some weird, obvious features. The actual gameplay itself is a lot of fun for me. So
And-
Shout out to the Bird Dog Discord.
yeah, shout out to the Bird Dog Discord. Some good leaderboard sharing in there
Yeah.
with several people.
And you have a whole review on your channel right now, right? That people can go check out.
Yeah, I put out a video. I figured I played it for 30 hours and might as well make a dedicated video to it. So it's, I spoke to some of my gripes and the things I like about it. So yeah, go ahead and check that out if you're interested.
Yes, you all should. So, is that all you've been playing? Mostly just Nintendo and Paper Mario?
I can't remember if I spoke about it last time. I'm still working through Final Fantasy. I haven't played in probably about a week now. I'm working through hard mode and stuff. I'm
Rebirth,
getting really
yeah.
close to finishing that up for Rebirth. I got like 2 of the combat simulator challenges left, and then I'll be done.
How many hours are you at so far in that game?
Ooh, like 140, 150, I think.
This
There you
man
go.
will do anything but start Persona 3 Reload. I'll say it
It's getting
once
close.
again.
It's getting close. It's getting close.
Heartbreaking. Tyler, what have you
Getting
been
there.
playing?
So me myself, of course, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, as all of us. Also, the Nintendo World Championships. Pretty much, as Zach said, been enjoying it. Been enjoying, like I said, the Bird Dog Discord. We're all sharing our times, competing with each other. That's been fun. Especially the one level from Super Mario Brothers 2, where Zach beat my time by like 3 milliseconds. I got to get back on that.
No way.
Is that? That was a little rough. I got to reclaim that. I'm sure I could shave some seconds off. And other than that, I was playing Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble, going through the story mode of that, about halfway through it, having a good time with that.
Nice. I was going to
Fun
say,
game.
do you guys think that this Nintendo World Championship game is good enough to justify a Super Nintendo World Championship eventually?
If they do it and then do the obvious things like leaderboards and don't make a weird decision again, then yes. Yes. I think the idea and the format is good enough to warrant a sequel. Just don't be weird again.
Fun fact I brought up on Zach's review video, I think it was his review video. I said, can't wait for the day that Nintendo brings paid DLC leaderboards
Yeah.
to the game.
Don't say that.
Because it's
Don't say that out
Nintendo.
loud.
But I don't know. I think they'll eventually do the Super Nintendo. I mean, the fact that it's called NES Edition makes me think,
Yeah,
like,
That's a weird move unless you're going to move on with it.
yeah.
But
But yeah, add leaderboards. I'm sure it'll be a good time. Talking to you, Nintendo.
Hmm.
All right.
I know. I kind of want to pick it up. I don't even know if you can get the physical edition without buying it secondhand anymore. I haven't really looked, but I'm getting a little bit of FOMO seeing everyone talk about it. I'm like, it does seem kind of fun.
is the physical edition only the deluxe edition?
Mhm.
Is there a regular box? Okay, it's
Mhm.
only the deluxe.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you could get the game digitally for $30, which isn't that bad, honestly. So
Yeah.
So I might.
It feels like a $30 game, and then $30 of toys. Like if you buy the digital version, you'll get $30 worth of fun probably. But
What is the hardest challenge on there, you think?
it's weird because some of the challenges that are more difficult have more lenient times.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Super Mario Brothers 1, probably like the hardest challenge, the last thing you do is just beat all of Super Mario Brothers 1, but it has a really lenient S rank,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. But then there's things like Excite Bike, where it'll be like a 15-second challenge, but you have to like do like a perfect 15-second run of Excite Bike on a certain. So like it kind of depends on what you're looking for. I think personally, all of the legendary challenges are pretty manageable if you just practice them. So it's probably just some random mid-level thing in Kid Icarus that's the hardest to get an S on. I don't know.
Kid Icarus is just disgustingly hard anyway, so.
Yeah. Or Ice Climber. I've also learned that Ice Climber is just a bad video game. I played it in the past, but God, it's so annoying to play Ice Climber.
I've never been a huge fan of it either. I hate the horizontal movement while you're jumping. Like how you go
It's
slow-mo
so
and you barely
frustrating.
even nudge. I hate the way it feels.
It does not feel good.
Tyler, what do you think's the hardest challenge in it?
Excite Bike.
Excited
That game is
Like,
That game is ridiculous. From the ones I played, because I haven't played all of them, like I haven't touched Kid Icarus yet. I did like one of the ones in Ice Climbers because somebody put a record in the Bird Dog Discord. I was like, I want to try to beat that, and I was like, yeah, I'm not beating that. So, but Excite Bike for me, yeah, that thing was kind of rough. But,
Yeah. That's the one you have to like really actually learn the mechanics. You can't just jump in there and you know grind it out. You have to learn Excite Bike to get those S ranks.
Interesting. Yeah, I might have to pick it up. Seeing everyone post their times in the Bird Dog Gaming Discord and stuff has been fun to see. So
Yep.
yeah. So for me, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, obviously like the rest of y'all, we're gonna get deep into that soon. But after I finally beat that yesterday, I decided to load up an old favorite of mine on PlayStation 5, and I went ahead and bought it. It was only $5, and that is the original Oddworld, Oddworld's Abe's Odyssey, a phenomenal PS1 game, tough as nails, super charming, humor's amazing, art style is super unique. Just it holds up so well. It is still hard. I don't know how I beat it as a child. Because it's like I wish that it had trophies because I would love to feel more incentivized to try to 100% the game because I've never saved all the Mudokons in the game. For those of you that don't know, Oddworld is about you are a creature that is called a Mudokon. Your name is Abe. You work in the meat factory, and you find out that the new thing that they're going to start making at the meat factory is you. So, you all of your coworkers that are the same species as you. Your goal is to try to save them all. There's 99 of them. I think you have to get like at least like a little bit more than half or so to get the good ending, and then there's also a bad ending. So there's quite a lot of leniency, and I don't know if there's actually any special reward for saving all 99 because it's very hard, especially if you don't have a guide. There's a lot of of these characters hidden throughout the world in very inconspicuous places that you wouldn't think to look. Like you might be walking through. One of the earliest examples of this is early in the game. The very first room that you enter, you just walk through, and there's just different barrels of meat in the background or whatever. And one of them, if you hit down on it, there's like a whole secret room below that has like 10 of them in there. And once you get past that first part of the game, you can never go back there. So it's like there's a lot of tough hidden characters to find in the game, but there's just so much charm to it. It has really funny and overtly violent death animations. You get hit by a meat grinder and you blow up and all of your body parts fly towards the front of the screen. And it's just, everything about it is absurd, but it's always going to be a favorite of mine. I've played through it many, many times, but not really since I've been an adult. So I think I'm going to try to stick through and play through it again with a bit more of an older set of eyes with it now compared to when I played as a kid. And, I think about it, I'm like, I probably should have been playing this as a kid. It's kind of violent and gross and all these other different things. But I don't know. My dad loved it because you could possess your own farts in it. So I think that was enough for him to be like, I think my kid will think this is funny. So.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And then I know we've said PSP, borderline of retro and on the show. I'm going to count this because this game came out in 2006. That's a long time ago. And that is Jeanne d'Arc. So Jeanne d'Arc is a very well-known kind of cult classic PSP game. It is a strategy RPG, in the vein of something like Shining Force or Fire Emblem, things like that. And it's kind of cool because it's like a historical fiction story. So it is about Joan of Arc, which a lot of people know about. If you don't know, she's this person who was written about in history, who essentially was like a vessel for God, supposedly, who would be that like God would tell her what to do in these wars and these battles, and she helped win tons and tons of wars for the French. And then once she started to get things wrong, they decided to execute her. So this is basically a game about so this is basically a game about this historical legend that's like not super well documented but well known because the story is very interesting and cool. And the game touts itself on being like historical fantasy, so I'm not sure. I'm no historian by any means. I'm not an expert on Joan of Arc, but the idea of the story of Joan of Arc is really cool. So the idea of making that into a strategy game, I think, is just such a cool idea. I've only played through the first 3 stages. I only played about an hour when I started it last night, but so far I'm really into it. The cutscenes are very high quality. The voice acting's pretty good. All this stuff, for 2008, it's funny how it's like, just anime Joan of Arc. It's just something you wouldn't really think exists, and it's cool that it does. So, I will say, very surprising. One thing I love about the PSN and, Xbox and all these different things is when you see achievements, you can see how far some people get in games, and people fall off of this game like flies. Like, the most common achievement in this game, only 64% of people have it, and you get it by beating the first stage. So it's like people are trying this and noping out of it really quick, which I find it interesting because right away I thought it was pretty good from the get-go. So it does have like a 15-minute animated cutscene in the beginning, so I wonder if a lot of people are like, oh, this anime bullshit, because it just kind of looks like a cool fantasy game from the artwork. Like, you wouldn't even really know it's like anime-ish, I think, just looking at the cover art for the game. So I think a lot of people just thought it looked like maybe a cool fantasy game, and then they saw the anime bullshit and were like, nah, I'm good. So, but yeah, definitely would recommend to you guys. I think you'd both like it a lot since you're both Fire Emblem fans, so anything similar to that.
Yeah, I downloaded it, and I've been putting it off specifically until after Paper Mario. So it is waiting for me to play it.
After
Okay.
Paper Mario, before Persona 3.
Of course, of course. Maybe Unicorn Overload, get another Atlas game in there before.
This man will never play Persona 3. Breaking
He's
my
waiting
heart.
for the DLC to come out, so he
I'm
can
waiting-
play
I'm
it
waiting for
all
the
in one
DLC,
go.
yeah.
No, you're not. You're lying. Don't do this to me. Although I am also impatiently waiting for the Answer DLC. I'm so excited for that because even though I played the PS2 version of Persona 3, I've never played the Answer, so that'll be a first-time experience for me. So, very excited for that. So, that's what we've been playing. I don't know about you guys. I have a couple of pickups to show. Tyler, you look excited. Why don't you go ahead and go first?
All right, I'm gonna go first. So, two games that I mentioned in the beginning for what I've been playing. We got, of course, a week late, but 2 weeks late, but it's here. I got it.
You got it.
We talked about that. And then we also got the Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. What's it called? Legendary Banana Edition.
There you
It's
go.
like a little art book thing.
Hell yeah.
Then went out game hunting last weekend. Yeah, got a couple of pickups. I'm gonna start with some PS4 stuff because gotta love the PS4 collecting.
Of course.
We got They Always Run. No clue what it is. Never seen it before, so I was like, gotta have it.
True shelf collector fashion.
This one I've been wanting to play for a while, and I was specifically looking for the definitive edition version of it, and I found it for a decent price, so I picked it up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Nice.
Dragon Quest 11.
Can you read the full title of that, please?
All right, so we got Dragon Quest 11: Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition. There we go. Show it again. It also includes new scenarios, 2D mode, orchestral, in-game music, and more.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. I
All
wasn't sure which
You're
Dragon
welcome.
Quest 11 you were talking about. Now I know.
Yeah. Now I know.
We'll know now. And then we got Earthdawn on the PS4.
Mm.
One you don't see so often. Might be talking about it on a future video.
Mm.
Mm.
Also, a PlayStation Hits game that's pretty hard to get. Dynasty Warriors
Oh.
8 Extreme Legends Complete Edition. I'll say the whole title for Zach.
Thank you.
Got that one. And then I got two PS5 games. This one I picked up because it was like shooting up in price, and it was going for like $200. So I picked it up. Scorn. Found it used
Oh.
at the store for $40. And then, of course, 2 days later, VGP announced they're reprinting it for $40. So, got that.
Got it in market price, baby. Yeah, VGP is a blessing and a curse. If you care about your games being valuable, that you're probably a big hater. But if you just care about
Yeah.
owning the games, then they are like the greatest company to ever exist. So,
Exactly. And then one other game I found was on the PS5, Teardown. It's like a little Minecraft looking thing. You plan your builds, you create them, and then you destroy them. I don't know. So,
baller.
but yeah, it was $15, and I looked it up. Apparently, it's pretty uncommon to rare. Goes for like $60 to $80. So,
Wow.
I figured for $15, why not?
Heck yeah.
And those
Nice.
are my pickups for the last 2 weeks.
Zach, you got anything fun?
Not anything fun, no. But I do have a couple thing. So I actually
Just
so I
trash.
did get I got College Football 25, which I haven't picked up a sim sports game in several years.
Mhm.
But I have several friends who are big college football. I'm a big college football enjoyer, but I
I
don't
didn't
buy
know that
like
about
a
you.
bunch of yeah. I don't buy like Madden every year, but this for people who don't know, college football has been on hiatus for like what 11 years now
Yeah, long
for
time.
the games. So this came back, got a lot of hype. It's fun. I played a little bit. And in a stunning twist of events, like I said, I haven't bought a sim sports game in several years. And then Best Buy had MLB The Show 22, the like steelbook version on sale for like $8. So I was
Oh,
like, sure. I mean, it looks cool. It's got Shohei Ohtani as like a samurai baseball player on the
that's
front. I
really
don't
cool,
know.
actually.
Yeah, it was like $8 free shipping. So I was like, sure. I'll. So now I got two sim sports games in the span of a week that I hadn't gotten probably 5 6 years. So
There you go. Yeah, I've heard really
yeah.
good things about the new college football game, so I guess there's like kind of like a life sim aspect to it too, which is
Or
interesting.
Yeah, you can like recruit players and like my buddy was playing it this weekend. You can like get into send them social media DMs and stuff and like you can like talk to them and like simulate you're talking to a real high school kid. I don't
Oh
know. It's
no,
kind of
don't
strange,
do
but
that.
but yeah.
Pause.
Um pause. But yeah, it's some fun like recruiting aspect where you can like I guess have a little social interaction with fake players. I don't know. I haven't
Interesting.
got into that. I just played a random game, but
so real quick, I just want to say this, Craig, because I know you're into trophy hunting as well as Zach.
Mhm.
oh
Zach,
yeah.
tell Craig how many trophies are in that football game.
There are so including the Platinum 16, not including Platinum 15 trophies, 9 of which are gold trophies, 6 are silver.
How
There's no
So
weird.
no bronze,
Huh.
but 6 silver, 9 gold trophies, and it's like a pretty easy looking platinum. I'm pretty sure if you just like play the dynasty mode and like win the championship, and like you'll pretty much get it. There's a
Interesting.
couple side
Make a
trophies you have to do
touchdown,
some other
gold
stuff, but
trophy.
yeah, not quite, but it's kind of like that.
Run
So,
1 yard, gold
so
trophy.
Tyler, what you're telling
Yeah,
me
there
is
was
you're gonna pretend to be a college football fan for about a week so you can get an easy platinum.
When it's on sale.
yeah, it'll go for sure go on sale.
Yeah, give it a couple of weeks and that'll be a very cheap game. But it's doing super well, so happy for
Oh yeah.
the people that have been wanting this game for the last decade because it's crazy how long it's been.
And
Yep.
sad for the guys hoarding NCAA 14.
Yeah, I know all the people that were just making money off of that game the last decade now all of a sudden is worthless overnight. Don't you love that? It's funny when that happens in game collecting. Don't feel bad about it though. I got a Vita game, Valhalla Knights 3. Very excited.
Oh, snap.
Don't really know much about it. I've heard that it's not good, but it's I'm pretty sure it's another like tactical strategy role playing game. I think it looks kind of neat. So, despite terrible reviews, I might check it out regardless. Maybe after John Dark, because I don't know if I could play two strategy games at the same time. I think that'd drive me nuts. But I also got this isn't mine. I bought this for my wife, but I still thought it was worth showing because it's on our shelves collectively and it's really cool and pretty looking. This nice Spyro
Oh,
2
first
Ripto's
figure,
Rage
Spyro.
figure. So very very nice looking. Gotta love Spyro, and yeah. So just thought I'd show that off because it very pretty and weirdly affordable for being a first four figures figure. I think it was only like maybe like 50-ish bucks. So and usually their
Nice.
stuff is very expensive. So
Yep.
happy to have
I was
that
actually thinking about
collecting dust here.
doing Ripto's Rage as like my next game to play. Last night I almost popped it in as from the Reignited trilogy.
Mhm. I've only ever played Spyro 1, so I really want to play the other two of the PS1 games eventually.
I really enjoy 3. Like 3.
You play as other characters in 2 and 3, right? Instead of just Spyro?
I know 3 you do. I'm not sure about 2.
Mm.
The 3 you play is like Hunter and the koala, not the koala, the kangaroo and all that stuff. So,
Interesting.
and you could do some skateboarding. So,
There's nothing
Mm.
cooler than a purple skateboarding dragon.
for real.
As a fact. All right, Tyler. I heard you have some history to share with the class today.
Oh, we do. We got some history. Who's ready to do some learning? So,
Always.
going back in time, July 24th, 2007 is when Square Enix released Final Fantasy II for the PSP.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely an overhated game. Final Fantasy 2 definitely not the worst Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 3 is. So
And then moving.
sorry, I just had to let that out there because
you're good.
I feel like a lot of people always talk about how much they hate Final Fantasy 2. It's the black sheep, yada yada. I had a really good time with it, so shout out to Final Fantasy 2.
And then we got moving along, July 25th, we got nothing. July 25th is a dry day. So let me go
Wow.
on to July 26th, 2002. In Australia, a federal court judge rules that mod chips for the PlayStation do not violate copyright rules that outlaw devices to bypass copyright protection technology. Thought that was a
Interesting.
little cool thing, so I threw that in there.
I
And
was
then
wondering
also
when that
July
happened.
26th, 2009 is when Nintendo released Wii Sports Resort. I'm gonna throw that in here. Shout out
I've
to the little
never played Wii Sports Resort.
what dude. I love the little Pilot Wing section in that, just flying around. What's it called, like Wahoo Wahoo Island or something like that. Moving on, July 27th, 1990 is when Nintendo released Dr. Mario for the NES.
Hmm.
I like Dr.
And then
Mario.
also,
Yep.
1999 is when Nintendo releases Mario Golf for the N64.
Let's go. There we
And
go.
then, probably the biggest news of this episode, 2004, on July 27th, Nokia released the N-Gage QD handheld for $199. Shout out to the N-Gage. It may have 17 games and not an N-Gage game or N-Gage system yet, but one day it'll happen.
I really want you to just finish
One
the
day.
N-Gage set and never own an N-Gage.
Not
That'd be
have an
really
N-
funny.
True shelf collector status right there. July 28th. So actually, one day and 4 years later is when Nintendo released Mario Golf Toadstool Tour for the GameCube, the next Mario Golf game.
Goated.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah,
It was a year apart.
Yeah, I didn't know they were
no,
that
not
close.
a year. It was like 4 years and a day.
Oh, 4 years in a day.
Yeah,
Oh,
4
okay.
years, not 1
I
year.
misheard
That's
you.
been kind of crazy.
Toadstool
Well, that's what it
Tour.
sounds like. Was it like the end and the
Next
beginning? I
year.
was like, damn.
Yeah, I love Toadstool Tour. Such a good game. I had some friends in from out of town the other week, and we were up till like 2 a.m. just playing it for many hours. It's such a good time. I like that you can just hit the D-pad and taunt your friends while they're trying to golf and distract them from getting the perfect hit. It's a very fun mechanic. It's super annoying.
Nice.
And then we got July 29th, 1985. So we mentioned this story a little while back about a lawsuit, so I figured I'd throw this in here to get the little conclusion. Is when Judge Sweet orders Universal to pay Nintendo $1.8 million in a failed copyright infringement lawsuit over Donkey Kong. So, Nintendo won that one, boys.
Hell yeah.
Then moving
King
on,
Kong
July. Yeah,
Was it about King Kong? Okay, yeah.
I believe the King Kong Donkey Kong situation.
Yeah, okay.
How could we forget?
Exactly. July 30th, 2001 is when Nintendo released Pokemon Crystal in the US. One that our fellow Craig played this year.
Yes, I really liked it. I've really been itching to play another Pokemon game recently again too. So I thought about just playing Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but I don't know if I should
Well,
wait a
Mystery
little bit
Dungeon
longer.
Red Rescue Team's coming to NSO because, we already got a remake. You might as well play the old. Sad. I want a new game. Moving on, July 31st, 1997, Sega released Sonic Jam for the Sega Saturn.
That's a really cool collection. The the Overworld in Sonic Jam is one of my favorite things ever. It is so charming and so cute. I really wish that we got a full 3D Sonic game on the Saturn, like with that art style. It is like the coziest looking 3D models. The music is so good. The movement actually feels pretty good. So everything about it, I could play the overworld of Sonic Jam for hours, even though there's like 10 minutes worth of content. It's so fun to just run around.
Then we got August 1st. We got a couple ones for this day. 1992 is when Nintendo released Mario Paint game and mouse controller for the Super Nintendo.
Oh,
Go.
Then a following year later, 1993, Nintendo released Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo.
let's go.
2006 is when Sega released Super Monkey Ball Adventure for the PS2, GameCube, and PSP.
Have you guys ever played that?
No.
I think I have, but I don't never to an extent where I could speak about it.
I've just always heard that it's
Or,
terrible.
knowledge of it.
So, and I never
Yeah.
knew how different it was from regular Monkey Ball.
This one, not so much retro, but it's kind of figured it'd be cool to talk about. It was the 2007 on this day, they had the Game Critics Awards.
Hmm.
So back in 2007, the best game of the show was Rock Band. The best original
Wow.
game, Little Big Planet. Uh, the one that got the award for a special commendation for graphics was Killzone 2.
Huh.
Best handheld game was Zelda Phantom Hourglass.
Ooh.
Best
Ow,
console game,
that was a rough
Mass
year for
Effect.
handheld then.
Best console game was Mass Effect. Best online multiplayer, Halo 3. And best sports game, Madden '08.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an incredibly
Oh, yeah.
mid-year for video games. If that's the best we got.
Either that or the critics just don't know what they're playing. One of the two.
No, it's not that bad actually. Mass Effect, of course, very seminal.
Never
I
played it,
never,
so I can't tell you.
yeah, I never played the Killzone games. I really want to eventually. I feel like that'd be a fun series to marathon because there's not that many of them. There's like 5 if you include the Vita game. Oh, and I guess 6 because there's a PSP game too, right? So 6,
Yeah,
and then
no.
Little Big
Which
Planet
one's
is
on
cool.
the?
I played Killzone
Yeah,
3 with the
Liberation.
Move controller on the PlayStation 3. That weird like wand thing they had.
Mhm.
So
That's
that's,
so
how I
funny.
played that game.
Never
The
forget.
last time I played,
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say just that they used those same wands for the PlayStation VR.
Yep.
yeah,
That technology went far.
the last time I played Killzone was they announced the servers were shutting down for Killzone Shadowfall on the PS4, and I was like, man, I want to get these online trophies out of the way, dude. I spent probably 2 weeks straight just standing on top of this rock shooting at these bots, like to get all these trophies.
Man.
It was rough. I did it though. One day I got to go back and do the campaign stuff, but
I really respect
Ugh.
that you're like one of the crazier trophy hunters that I know. Like you're willing to have
Yeah.
no fun for hundreds of hours to get your little digital reward, and I really respect
you
that.
gotta have it. You know the little noise and
Yeah.
everything. It gets me.
Well,
Yeah.
The best part about it is that you went through all that trouble to get the online stuff, and then you didn't even bother playing the campaign.
Adam,
It's like, one day I might do that.
I think I did like the first mission, and I was like, all right, I gotta take a break.
You're like,
I had
okay.
enough Killzone for a while.
You're like, wait
These
a minute,
guys are
I don't
actually
even like
moving and
Killzone.
shooting at me. Killzone's actually a bad game. And then the last one we got on August 2nd, 1993, Nintendo released Link's Awakening for the Game Boy.
Hmm.
And that is our history lesson for today, folks.
Shout out to Link's Awakening. All right, topic of the show, boys. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door.
And the 2/3 of us
we
beat.
Yeah, I was gonna say that 2/3 of us beat. So Zach, how far are you in Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door?
My Switch is in standby mode mid last boss fight, so I am almost there. I'm very close. But
He's
alas,
giving us.
No spoilers on the ending.
He's
Yeah, no
not.
spoilers in the ending. I don't want to hear the ending.
We got to talk about the ending.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, of course.
I was gonna say we got to talk about the beautiful treasure that they finally found in that behind the Thousand Year Door. It's the most incredible
Yes.
treasure of all time. I actually don't even think Tyler knows because I don't think you did any post game stuff, right? After credits rolled, did you just turn it
No.
off?
Yeah. Why, you're supposed to go back there?
Well, if you when you load the game back up, there's a whole post game and different things you could do and talk to, and there's different NPCs with different dialogue and all that. So
Well, I
Is
loaded
the
it
power
up,
of
and then,
friendship?
like, the ship came back, you got off, and then that's what I did so I can get our stats that we could talk about.
yes, so I did ask
Yeah.
the boys to write down, playtime level, our stats, badges, loadout, all that. I thought it'd be fun for us to compare. So I will go ahead and go first. When I finished the game, my playtime 25 hours 47 minutes. I was level 28. My HP was 50, my FP was 30, and my badge points was 45. So I loaded up like crazy on badge points because to me that's the way Paper Mario is meant to be played. That's how I did when I played the original Paper Mario as well. My badges for the final boss was I used 2 Power Plus to make my Mario strong as shit. I used 2 Defense Plus to make him a fucking tank. I used the 1 Partner Power and 1 Partner Defense to make them tankier as well. I used Peekaboo because I always like knowing how much HP my enemies had to help strategize how I was going to, like, which enemies to attack at what turn with what character. I used Quick Switch, which was like one of the best badges in the game by far, where you can switch out your partner, and then they still get to have a turn even if you do that. And then because I had 3 FP left over, I just did badge points left over. I used an FP plus to give myself an extra 5 FP for the final boss. Now, does this sound drastically different from your guys' stuff, or no? I'm curious.
Not drastically different, no.
Mm-hmm.
So mine, I don't have the exact time. I did just cross the 25-hour thing on the, as far as my Switch tells me, the 25 hours or more thing.
And then
I just crossed that.
You got about 2 hours of final boss and cutscene left. So
so let's say 27 hours. So I had 30 health, 20 flower points, what they're called, and then like I think 57 badge points. Because I remember I was listening to a podcast a couple weeks ago, and then the guy was like, "Yeah, I only do badge points because that's what you're supposed to do." I'm like, you know what? That's what I should be doing. So I've done like the last like 15 levels just badge points, which is the correct answer now that I understand the game more. So I was using the 2 power-ups, attack ups, like you said. I was using one of the partner attack ups, 2 defense ups on Mario, and I was using the all or nothing badge. So it's like if you do the timed hits correctly, you get an additional point of damage.
Oh.
But if you mess that up, you do 0 damage.
Oh my god.
I
remember I got that badge and I was like, nope, I'm not risking that.
Yeah.
Well, I was sitting there, I was like, okay, so if I just do the regular jumps, that's pretty easy to get the timed on, and then the hammer is like a gimme.
So easy,
basically.
yeah.
So basically, unless I really am not paying attention, it's a free attack up, and it's cheaper than the regular attack ups. And then I think the other ones I used were 1 HP plus 5, 1 FP plus 5, and then I used I was using the power hammer, I believe. It's just an even stronger hammer attack, and it costs like 1 or 2 badge points. So I was like, yeah, sure.
Pretty baller.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Nice,
What were you looking like? How was your Mario?
All right. My level was 24. I had 26 hours and 2 minutes. My total FP was 30. My HP was 45. I had 42 BP, which I used for... I had Spike Shield, Quake Hammer, Multi-Bounce. I had 2 FP pluses, 2 partner power pluses, 2 regular power pluses, and a defend plus. I was kind of tempted because I was playing the remake version. You're able to get a 3rd power plus through the lottery system.
Oh.
And if you change your switch time by like 90 days, I think it is, you're like guaranteed to get a power plus. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool, next one. A little fun fact, if you do that, and then if you revert your time back, the bomb actually knows that you changed your time, and he starts going crazy, and then he like blows up. And then from that point on, he charges you 500 coins for every ticket.
That's wild.
He's like, you can never do this again.
Oh, so I guess we should.
I
was gonna say, I guess we should clarify. You guys both played the remake. I played the original GameCube version. So some things I'm curious to see the differences, if there are any big ones, comparatively
one
between
big
the
one.
games. Oh yeah, so
Real quick,
yeah.
Did you guys do any side quests?
I didn't do a single one.
I did all the side quests until I decided last night I need to actually beat the game, so I didn't do the last the last chapter's worth of side quests.
Yes, so this was the 3rd time that I've started this game in my life. The first 2 times I didn't beat it. So when I got through everything in Road Pork, I was spamming A. I did not give a shit. Didn't want to hear any of that. I was like, I've already done this. I'm over it. So I missed the part, about side quests. I never knew about the side quests, so I didn't know any of them until Tyler was like, hey, did you get the secret partner to do the side quest? I'm like, there's side quests? There's a secret partner? And then I also didn't level up any of my characters with the SAR sprites until after like chapter 6 because I didn't know. So if I was struggling a little bit, I think that's definitely part of why at that point in the game, because I just I was saving these things and I was like, man, because I think in the N64 Paper Mario, if I remember right, when you get like 2 or 3 star sprites or whatever it is. It's just like, which character do you want to level up? And I kept expecting that to just happen at some point in this game too, so I never went to that Merlin guy until I looked it up and I was like, oh, I was like, I'm so stupid. That's why he has the star sign over his door.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just had one of those really dumb slow moments where I just totally didn't think about it, and then I was like, oh, of course. And then, like I said, I didn't get the secret partner. What's the character's name? The little mouse?
It's Mrs.
It's like a Mrs. Mouser, Mrs.
Meowser.
Mouse, Mrs. Mouse.
Yeah,
It's like
Miss
something like
Mouse
that.
something.
Is she useful? Is it worth it?
It pretty much just her ability to let you know when hidden items are nearby and stuff like that.
Oh, so
And
it's like
Tyler-
more outside of combat?
Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
I don't know for sure, but I didn't like get down to the nitty gritty. But it seems like her basic attack, it almost seems like it ignores defense. Like it always did the amount of damage it was always doing. I don't know for sure, but the couple times I used her, she was always doing like 5 damage, no matter how much defense the enemy had. So I don't know. I'll have to actually confirm that when I finish the game. But she felt useful in combat.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I figured maybe she'd be really OP, or at least the best one to use if you could get her. But by the time Tyler told me about it, I was like, I'm really close to the end. I kind of just wanted to be done with the game, honestly. So I just
It was like,
whatever.
what do you mean secret partner?
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean
There's
side
another
quests? And I'm like, oh, there's a whole building for side quests that I just never went into. So
And then he talked in the Discord chat for us. He was like, Zach, did you know about this? Tyler just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And Zach was like, oh, the mouse, right?
Yeah.
yeah, so I had a little bit of a blonde moment, I guess, to say on those two things, because I started the game in the past a few times, so it's like I had already gotten like past Hooktail twice at some point, and I was like, I just want to be done with this already, so I just was trying to speedrun through that part of the game because I felt like it really dragged for me since I already played it already. But speaking of things dragging, it's one of the things I want to mention is this game I think has pretty terrible pacing for the most part. I really was not. I felt like the game really did feel like kind of a slog until like maybe after like chapter 5, like up until like Twilight Town I believe is chapter 4 when you get Vivian. And God, that chapter sucked, walking back and forth 10,000 times. And after that,
It's like the game's trolling you. So it's like it's trolling you on purpose, like trying to waste your time sometimes.
the only thing
It's,
that
like,
made it
kind of
worth
funny,
it,
but-
yeah, but the only thing that made it worth it was that the bad guy's name was Dupless, which is just the funniest name ever. So,
Yeah.
And when he says to guess his name and then the P's missing,
Yeah, he
so you
steals the
can't
letter
do it
P
right
from
away.
the keyboard.
You gotta
Yeah.
go find it.
oh yeah, because I looked it up. I was just like, "What's this guy's name?"
Yeah.
skip all the bullshit. See if I could just get to it. And I was like, "Nope, gotta find the
Yeah.
fucking letter."
They're like, Dupless? Sorry, DOO. Wait, hold on a
And
minute.
then I tried capital P and it didn't work, but I figured it was worth the
funny.
shot. But yeah, I feel like the game. I don't know what it is. I feel like the game really takes a while just to get its footing. Like I felt like the grind was really long in the beginning of the game. Leveling up felt like it took forever. It felt like you weren't getting a lot of really good badges until a bit later in the game. There's just so much backtracking in these earlier parts of the game of going back and forth,
Yeah.
back and forth, like we said. Obviously, chapter 3 is just battles, and after a while, that gets a little bit stale too when you're doing it for like, I don't know, that chapter felt like it was at least 2-3 hours. It's
Yeah,
pretty
like
long.
they wanna- That's the one that
'Cause
got me is because. Oh, go ahead, Tyler.
Okay, because like you know how they like had all 20 battles, and then like in the tail end of the 10, well, the last 10, they had you go and do all this extra stuff. I
Mhm.
feel like if they would have just had 10 instead of the 20,
Yeah,
and then kind of just built on with that, it would have been fine.
yeah, they could have
Was
cut
that-
it in half.
Yeah, after chapter 3, when I got to chapter 4, I feel like the pacing kind of started picking up a little bit, but besides the whole back and forth thing. But then from chapter 5 on, I was smooth sailing with it.
Mhm.
So
Yep. With chapter 3, like Tyler, you said, it's literally just 20 battles. I was like, there's no way they're gonna make me do all 20 of these. They did.
Yeah.
And I think what got me is I was playing the game. I'd play it for like 20 or 30 minutes at a time, and for like 5 different days, I turned the game on. I was in the same box doing the same thing, and it like unmotivated me from playing the game because every time I turned it on, I was doing the same thing, and it made me not want to go back to it. I finally grinded through that and just got out of that stupid arena. And I don't think it was. If I just sat down one day and just busted through it like 3 hours, maybe it wouldn't have felt so bad about it, but that chapter really bothered me.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know.
I don't know, like I guess it's one of the things where it's like, the idea wasn't bad, but the execution definitely wasn't super fun.
Yeah,
But there was definitely a lot of very good humor in this chapter. The whole Gonzalez thing cracks me up. The fact that your Yoshi calls
yeah,
you that till the very end of the game, never calls you
yeah,
Mario, always cracks me up. I love that Koopa, when you're in like the very first part of it, that acts like he's your best friend. He's like, "Yeah, you got this,
yeah,
bud. That was a great battle."
yeah. Yeah, everything surrounding it is fine. I think the fact that it was just 20 battles is
Mhm.
just that's too much.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, Hooktail's castle it was fine. It's just kind of I don't know, just felt almost generic in a way. I don't like the puny tree at all. I like the like kind of abstract art style that they went with. I felt like just clashed with the rest of the game, and it felt super out of place and weird. And I thought it was
I
kind
love
of
that music though.
yes, the music is
I
great,
loved
but
it.
Yeah.
yes, in
Yeah.
general, I say the music of this game is great. I'm curious, did you guys listen to the new soundtrack or the original GameCube one for most of it?
I like did a mix of both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I've heard
I
some
do
mixed
prefer the
things
GameCube.
about the new soundtrack. Some people saying that they didn't like it, but I haven't been able to hear it since I played the original. So
Yeah, it's good. Like it's I don't think there's a bad track in the game. Specifically the chapter 2, the tree. I did switch over to the GameCube version for that one because I really like that track. It's on like those random playlists of like best Nintendo music.
yeah,
That one comes up a lot. So I like that track a lot. So I would listen to that version of it. But
I just love
overall, I
the
like
the music in
stuff.
Rogueport too. One of my favorite songs in a Nintendo game. It's just
I like
something
the
about
underground music too.
Yeah, it's
The,
really
like the
good.
yeah. But,
Tyler, sorry, you looked like you were gonna say something.
Oh no, I was just gonna say one thing I liked about the whole chapter with the tree is when you had your whole like 100 squad versus 100 of whatever they were called. It was like
yeah,
attack, and they're like ah.
That was very funny.
yeah, yeah.
And then you were able to find I forget what the enemy was called, but it was like that little fly. You're able to find one in the shop in there, and you were able to just recruit it and have him on your team too. I mean, not like on your team, but he like followed with you. It was like, yeah,
Yeah.
you traitor.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I definitely feel like the game gets better in the second half. Twilight Town really was where I was like, man, do I even want to keep playing this? Like the back and forth I thought was so obnoxious, but after that I really think the game finally started to get stride. And I do like the character of Vivian a lot. I thought she was one of
Yeah.
the more fun partners in the game. I liked when you went to had to spy on all the crows, and they were just talking about like their kids going to college and stuff. That was very funny. The obviously that's something these games are very well known for is the humor. I think pretty much all of it lands for the most part. There's nothing funnier than a toad just calling you bro. Something about it just really gets me. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how it is in the original like Japanese version, but the people that localized it did a very good job.
Oh, it's so
Like,
good.
yo, bro, come on, Great Gonzalez, let's go.
Yeah.
I love.
Which, by the way,
Oh yeah, what color is you guys'
Oh.
Yoshi?
yeah, I purposely waited so I can get a black Yoshi, and I named him Nero because that is Italian for black.
There you go.
So
I was a dark blue. I named him Batman.
Mine was pink. I named him Balls with a Z because I just thought it was funny. So
There you go.
I got Balls the Yoshi. I didn't know about the different color thing actually until after it happened because on the title screen he's green and I was just like, oh, that's weird. Mine's pink. And then I looked it up and I saw you could get the different colors. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
oh, is he green on the original title screen, or on the title screen for the remake? It goes with the color you get.
Oh, does it? Yeah, and the original is just the green
Yeah.
one. So
Mm.
yeah, I think the title screen's a bit more dynamic with the game for the remake because I think every time you get a new partner, they get added to the title screen,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and the original is not like that. It's just the your first four partners that are on there. So Flurry,
Mm.
Goombella, Coops, and in my case, Balls. So
Balls the Yoshi.
yeah, who's your favorite partner, guys? Who'd like in terms of like let's separate it by usefulness in battle and then like just personality wise. I'm curious.
Oh, okay.
In battle,
Oh.
I really liked Captain Bobbery.
Yes, me
You
too.
know his name. He was really good, really powerful, a lot of HP. And like character wise, I kind of really liked Vivian. But I
Mhm.
kind of liked the whole going from evil to good type thing, and
Mhm.
like, screw my sisters. That was a whole cool aspect of it.
What about you, Zach?
In battle, I have a terrible affliction in all games that let me assess characters why I have to do it. So I was a Goombella the whole game. She went to every fight with a new character. She had to start. I had to assess the enemy. So I use Goombella a lot. My favorite
Mini
character.
Chadley.
basically, it's just, yeah. My favorite character though, personality wise, I do love that the baby Yoshi calls you Gonzalez,
So
and he's just
funny.
like a total ass to everybody. He's just like he's like talking shit to everybody the whole game.
He does
Let's go get him,
eventually call you
Gonzalez.
Mario, but you're not there yet.
Oh, okay, well, sorry.
Spoilers.
That's funny. But yeah, I liked all the characters. I don't think there was a bad character per se, in my opinion. But they're all fun. in
Hard
their own
disagree.
ways.
I never used Flurry. I never used her, almost ever. I felt like she was definitely the least useful. Even when you level her up, I feel like the powers that she gets weren't as good as everybody
Sure.
else's.
I used
Sure.
her a couple times when I was like, man, I don't feel like fighting 4 enemies at once, so let me try to blow them all away. And then I'd
Yeah.
do that, and then only one would go away, and I'd be like, all right. This is-
I rescind my statement. We all hate Flurry here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like hate her, but
Now, as a
that
character,
is
she's
kinda-
very funny, but I do feel like she's the least useful in battle, so...
I can't go out without my necklace. I need my necklace.
Yeah. In battle, I really did use almost everybody, basically, except for Flurry, pretty regularly, especially by the end game. I feel like you kind of have to effectively fight everybody. I think that one character that I underutilized was Vivian, because her being able to pull you under to not be hit by an enemy attack is very useful, and I didn't really use that enough until I got a bit
I
later in
didn't
the
either.
game, and I was like, oh, I should have been using this, like, for those attacks that, even if you do a
Yeah.
perfect dodge or block, they still do a decent amount of damage. It's like, I could have been avoiding that.
Yeah.
I loved, Goombella being able to do a second turn was super duper useful. I ended up doing that a lot.
Yep.
For the final battle, I pretty much just had her give me a second turn every turn instead, because it was stronger than what everyone else could do anyway.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like personality-wise outside battle, probably Goombella. I always like the sassy characters, and she's got a lot of sass on her. She always has something a little snarky to say to everybody, and I think it's very funny. And but I have to say, character design-wise, I love Koops. I think he's so funny. His little band-aid and his little droopy eye all the time, like he always just
You know
got
what,
his
man?
ass beat. It's so funny to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave my town, and I'm gonna be the hero. I'm gonna do it for you, Mario.
And just
Do
the
it.
name Koops is very funny. There's something about that that just cracks me up. So shout out to Koops.
Yeah.
Shout out to the obsessed Peach collector, also Coop's hometown.
Yes, so
Has
funny.
everything Peach in that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. This is like a
Bowser
thing
walks
with
up.
the
There
window.
she is. Yeah. Bowser walked up, was like, "There she is," and he's like, "Yo, you ain't getting my poster," and runs inside.
That was awesome. I like the Bowser sections. I thought were very funny as well. I forget the name of the witch, but how she'd be like, your ugliness, my crustiness, like all the terrible
Yeah.
nicknames that always cracked me up. Your hideousness.
The Bowser sections are funny. Is it one part where it's is it Cammy the
I think that is
Her
what
name-
it is. Yeah.
yeah, and then he's talking to another like older woman character, and your options are like you're both old hags or
Oh
something
yeah.
like
Oh,
that.
I
The
think it was
Bowser-
like Hag v Hag, or like awesome Hag v
Yeah.
Hag or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
That was really
Bowser's-
fun.
Wasn't it at the tree talking to the elder or something like
Mhm.
that?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it was. Yeah,
That was very fun.
Bowser thinks
And the
he's so
elder
funny.
gets really huge, and it's like, "There's no star here," and it's like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa."
Yeah. Did you guys utilize the special abilities with the crystal stars a lot?
I use the same ones over and over again. I use the earthquake slamming one a lot that like hit everything. I think it's like the second one you get. or
Yeah.
maybe it's the first one. I can't remember. It's one of the early ones.
Second one.
And then I use the draw circles around
Yes,
people
I use
one
that
a
one
lot.
a lot. Endgame, that's super useful when you have a ton of annoying enemies.
Yeah, and then there's like a healing one I used. I haven't used the last one yet, like the very last one. It says like it does a spectacular amount of damage or whatever. I haven't
It
done
doesn't.
that yet.
It's a
but,
lie.
Oh, it's-
So I was so
Okay.
annoyed because I went to fight Bowser and I was like, all right, let's whoop this motherfucker. And then it did like 15.
Yeah.
I did it maxed out. I was like on the A button like this, grinded my finger.
Yeah.
It did like 15 damage. I was like, come on, dude. I could have done that on a Tuesday with my hammer.
Yeah, yeah.
I did that on the final boss, and it was like 15 damage. I was like, "What?
Like that's it.
All right."
Like a ton
But
my
then-
ass.
I used those, and then I also used the one quite a bit where you can like power up your attack and defense even more.
Yes, that's very
It's
useful.
like I got tap all the ones. I did that one.
I had the typical JRPG struggle where I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna need this, so I didn't use it very often.
Yeah.
Unless I knew it was like unless I was like close to a level up, because then I knew it would max out right away. So I was like, all right, I might as well just use everything up as much as I can. So
One
Yeah.
other thing I kind of want to bring up, there's like not a lot of area you can like when I'm playing like an RPG or like something, it's cool to like sometimes if you want get a little bit overpowered. I mean, you don't really need to in this game because it just all relies on badge points, but
yeah,
like there's no point you can really like grind for experience. It's like you go back and face enemy, you get one battle point
yeah. I was gonna say the
or
game
one
is very
XP. And
anti.
it's like
The game wants you to be at a certain point, basically. Once you level up,
Yep.
then the enemies give you less experience per battle. So I kind of respect that in a way because I feel like. I mean, I'm with you. I like being overpowered in my RPGs because it feels like a reward for putting in the time. But I also kind of respect the game being like, it's time to move on. Like, keep going. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think if you're gonna do that, you need to make avoiding battles like less of a pain in the ass. So, because it's like some of these battles, and then you got to try to run away. Like I remember specifically bringing up Twilight Town again. Those stupid flower enemies were such a pain in the butt. The ones that would make you fall asleep, and you
Some
try to
of
run away
those-
from them. And if you ran away, then like another one will catch up to you right away. Especially in that little hallway where you had to sneak through the grass. There was no way to avoid that.
Mhm.
And then it's like, oh, well,
There's-
there goes a bunch of my coins. And it's like, if the game
Yeah.
is gonna give you zero reward for doing this battle, then don't force me to do the battle, because then it's just a waste
Yeah.
of my time and your time.
the one like actually only part you can grind is actually in that part because you could find like a golden one called an Amazing Daisy.
Yeah, but that
And they
thing
give
can
you,
whoop
like,
your
a whole
ass if you're
crap-
unlucky too.
Oh,
It's like the
yeah,
only
like
game
if-
over that I got was that enemy.
Yeah, you need to be able to do like 20 damage your first turn on them in order to get them.
hmm
But
Yeah, did you guys die a lot? How was your experience in terms of game overs? Do you think the game was easy, hard?
I'll tell you when
I
I
don't-
got my first game over.
Sure.
What's that?
So it wasn't even in battle, man. So when you're on the train car and you gotta go get that Ghost Toad's diary,
Oh yeah.
right? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, did
So
you
he's
read
like,
his
"Go get
diary?"
it." Oh, yeah, I read it. Because I was like, oh, I wonder what happens, right? So I got the diary, and I was like, oh, can I read it? Like, so I opened it up in my inventory, and then I clicked read, and it was like, are you sure you want to read this? And I was like, yeah. And then it was like, are you sure you want to read this? Because he said it will put a curse on you. And I was like, yeah. And it was like, are you sure you want to do this? It's probably not a good idea. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, one last time, like something bad might happen if you don't do this. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then it was like month, whatever, day, whatever, like how it uses the X and circles and the stars and all that.
Yeah.
And then it was like, it said like 2 words, and then he popped up. No, the screen started going all staticky, right?
Mhm.
And then he popped up all huge. It was like, you read it? You read my diary? And then, like, you die, and it says game over.
That's awesome.
Does it say what was in there? Do you get to actually see what was so embarrassing?
I don't think so. No.
Dang.
It
That's
just
enough.
says God word, and then you die, and it's like, oh. Okay.
I love though when you get the Toad's diary. He's like, finally, I could be set free, and he starts to float away. Then he comes back down. And he's like, actually, I'm kind of comfortable here. I've been here a while.
Yeah.
I think I'll just stay a little bit longer.
You know what? Nah.
So
Yeah.
funny, so funny. And shout out to the Penguin on that train as well. The world's
Yep.
worst detective that always tells you the wrong clues. I thought that was a really good bit.
You got this, Luigi. You're doing great, Luigi.
God, that killed me. Even at the end, when you're at the end game, when you're fighting the final boss, you get like the JRPG trope of everyone like sending you their thoughts and prayers and all that.
Yep.
And you see like you go Luigi is one of the bubbles.
Yeah.
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 And then I
like
think
that
when it
too.
was like it finally ended or something, and everybody was it was when the stars were showing up like mid fight or whatever, and then they heard everybody like chanting, and the stars was like, "Oh, you go Mario," and then he was like, "Wait, what? Mario?
That's awesome.
Who are we talking about here?"
So funny.
Did
You
y'all
got
did y'all
both
ever wear
friends?
did y'all wear the badges that make you look like other like Wario and stuff like that?
I actually didn't find
Okay.
any of them naturally. So
I didn't
So-
find the Wario one, but I found the Luigi one.
yeah, that
Yeah, so
was
the Luigi badge is in his section. You can get the Luigi
Mhm.
badge in the
Mhm.
museum to look like Luigi. I thought was a funny touch since he thinks you're Luigi.
Yeah, I read that afterwards when I was just looking up kind of general stuff about the game, but yeah, I didn't naturally come across any of those badges. Otherwise, I definitely would have been repping Waluigi the rest of the
Did-
game. So
Yep.
Did you find any of the others, Zach? Where were they? If you
Wario is
remember.
from the Wario's in the merchant that's like in Rogueport. He sells you some badges, but he cycles his inventory, so you have to just get lucky and it
Oh,
shows
that
up. And
guy.
it's like It's like 500 coins. And
There's
then
a guy
why
that
do we
sells
get my-
badges in Rogueport.
yeah, he's like a guy with a big mustache. He's just standing there next to the noose.
I'm the
Just
world's worst
standing there.
JRPG player. I didn't do a single side
ended-
quest. I didn't level up
I
my
ended my
character
game
till after
with,
the end of the
like-
game. It's like how Zach, this will give you a good laugh. The first time I played through Fire Emblem Awakening, I never ranked up any of my characters, like how you could change their class. I beat the entire game without doing that because I didn't know it was a thing.
Awesome.
I am like the king of accidentally skipping important dialogue when I'm like, that's probably fine. I'm like, this doesn't seem
Did
relevant
you
to the story.
guys-
No tutorials.
Did you guys invest any coins in that oil company thing with the little mouse?
I did not.
I did,
Report.
but I never got a payoff from it.
You were supposed to go back. Right before
back?
you went, like chapter 7, right when you came back, you were supposed to go back and he was there.
That's the thing. I just went straight to the ending because I was trying to beat the
Yeah.
game. So
You were able to pay him up to 300. I don't know how many you did. If you
I
did
did them back.
100, you got 200 back. If you did 200, you got like 500. And if you did 300, you got 999.
oh, nice.
So I got 999, and then I had like 2,800 coins by the time I beat the game. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what to do all this.
Yeah, I felt like early game it was so hard to have any money, and then by the end of the game I had so much money I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
That's definitely a balancing thing there where I was like, I have all this money now, and it's like, I also kind of get it because the game's already not that hard and be way easier if you had an unlimited inventory, but I do feel like the inventory is a little bit too tight as well. I felt like I could never hold as much as I wanted to.
Oh, dude. It'd always be like, oh,
Yeah.
you gotta drop something.
And then you throw it and you accidentally walk into it and it bounces back into you and you're like, God damn it. Every
It's like,
time.
do you want this item? No.
Yeah. So that's like another thing. Yeah, you said, Craig. It's like it's annoying, but if they didn't do it, it would be like too easy. Just stock up on items. 'Cause, like you have unlimited money basically. So, I get it, but yeah, it's a little clunky.
It's yeah, and in general, like I said, I don't think the game was too hard. I only got maybe 2 or 3 game overs the entire time. I don't
Did
even-
y'all ever go fight Prince Mush?
No.
No.
You can go back to the Glitz pit and fight him.
Oh,
And he's a monster.
is he rough?
Oh yeah, I
The
died
little,
to him.
the little
so
toad
bad.
guy?
Yeah, yeah.
No
So he has
way.
like he has like 100 health. He has like 100 health, and his attack and defense are like both, I think, like base 6.
my
And then he
God.
powers up. He goes Super Saiyan. He powers up and goes Super Saiyan. And then he does like these combo attacks that do like literally 20 damage to you. You have to like parry them all, or you just basically die. He's really tough. I thought about like trying to grind him out, but I didn't have the time to do that. But yeah, you can go fight him in the Glitz pit. He's excited to fight you and see you.
How
You can
funny.
also start the Glitz pit over from the minor leagues and do the entire thing again if
Oh.
you choose to.
Oh, that sounds great.
I was kind of gonna say that when I go back and if I want to fight Prince Mush, can I fight him right away?
You can fight him right away, but I think
Okay.
I think Rockhawk also wants to rematch you. I don't know if you have to fight the whole thing again to fight him again, but Prince Mush is standing outside by himself. You can go fight him. by
Rockhawk
himself.
is great too. One of the funniest characters in the game.
Yeah.
Little fun fact in the Spanish version of the game, he's actually called Hawk Hogan. Like they didn't do that in the American one, but he's called Hawk Hogan.
That's fun.
And like when he beats the one Koopa guy or whatever, and he mentions that he's gonna go play video games or whatever, he specifically says he's gonna go play Smash Brothers Melee in the
Nice.
Spanish version.
That's fun.
Nice.
Shout out to the little kid Toad too that is playing Fire Emblem
Fire
and tells
Emblem.
you to go play it.
Yep.
I really
Yep.
appreciate
I had
intelligent
that for one of my
systems.
pros on the games. That was one of my pros.
Yeah, I like that Intelligent Systems is advertising their own works. They're like, hey, this is other great series you can check out too.
Intelligent Systems is like the more I think about it, they make Paper Mario games,
Mhm.
they make Fire Emblem games, and they also make WarioWare games.
Yeah.
So they're like catering to me a lot.
I know. If you were to probably sit down and like look at your favorite games, I think they'd probably be one of your favorite developers for sure.
For the 100%, 100%. The Fire Emblem thing reminds me. There's a couple funny fourth wall breaks in the game.
Mhm.
Randomly, who's the is it Captain Clump or Crump?
Oh yeah.
Whatever. The one part where he's undercover and he like randomly looks at the camera and he's like, "Hey, I know you know who I am, but don't tell them who I am."
And they're just
It's
like,
like, whoa. Okay. It does it a couple times.
they're like,
fourth
hey,
wall
you
breaks in
staring at the
general.
TV.
Yeah, he's staring at the TV. Yeah, yeah.
Apparently, like another little fact is like Lord Crump's like theme
Lord Crump.
actually references like the Pac-Man death sound from the Atari 2600. I didn't like look into it, but I heard about it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. Little fun
Yeah.
fact.
You know, speaking of him, any favorite bosses? Did any of the bosses stand out to you guys?
Hmm.
Gosh.
Take that as a
I think
no.
that's my
I do-
favorite.
I mean, I you know,
I mean, I did kind of really
Awesome.
like. I don't remember. Is it Cortez? His name, the pirate guy.
Mm.
yeah.
I think I like doing like that whole part, and then at the end, like you're like, I just want the star, and he's like, you just want that?
Yeah.
It's like, you
all
can
you
have
want?
that.
He's like, oh, fine, take it.
That was funny. I actually really liked the Dupless fight. I wish that it was harder because it's cool that you have to fight your own partners. I thought that was a really
Yep.
cool idea. But I was able to destroy him before Koops was even able to come out. So it's like,
Yeah.
I beat him, and the only person that attacked me was Goombella. And I was like, I kind of almost wish I elongated the fight to see what all the other, like, how much my own partners would try to whoop my ass. But I did think that that was a cool idea.
Yeah, I purposely killed the partners first, and I was able to
Oh,
just
okay.
kill them like a turn at a time. They were all chumps. They didn't stand a chance. But I think they did. You upgraded the character. They did more damage to you.
That's cool.
Like my Goombella was doing more
would have been
damage
like
than
nothing.
yeah. So yeah, for you, Craig, you weren't upgrading. So
Yeah, I was. all my partners are chumps until like end game. So
it's funny.
I had them all fully upgraded except for Flurry as well, since I didn't use her, so I just didn't upgrade her. But I only found enough to give. I gave everybody the 2 level ups except for her. I only gave her 1. So
Yeah, they start handing you shine sprites
at the end,
like,
a ton.
left
Yeah,
and right at the end. There's like here,
Yeah.
it's just like on your path. There's like there's a shine sprite. Like okay, like
sure.
thanks, I guess.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I wonder certain stuff like that, how much harder the game would be, but because I felt like the final boss even wasn't very hard at all. So I beat it first try. Didn't think it was much of a challenge. It was most of the moves were pretty easy to dodge too. So I like that. They kind of they have a bit of a rhythm to them, and I feel like not every enemy has like a predictable rhythm. But for some reason, the final boss is like. I felt like the moves were extra easy to time, and maybe they did that because it does more damage, than the average enemy or boss, but
How much did y'all play around with the parry rather than the block? Did y'all use the parry at all?
there's a
Where
parry.
like you can press. Yeah, well, maybe it's a maybe it's
It's like
Maybe
there's
it's
a parry.
maybe it's a remake thing. So you press
Okay.
you press the A button and you have like a 5-frame window where it blocks, right?
Mhm.
If you press the B button, there's a smaller frame where you can actually block and do damage to them. Is that
I must
bring
have
any
been
Hold
bullshit?
on.
speaking dialogue.
I'm looking
I
it up
must
real
be-
quick. Can you parry in?
I mean, I played the
Door?
remake, and I don't even know.
I guess what I'm getting at, I didn't do it very often, but I did do it sometimes. But it didn't do a whole lot of damage, so I didn't think it was worth the risk.
Okay,
I didn't know that
so
was a thing.
maybe it's just a remake thing because I don't see. It looks like people are just being like, you mean block and super block, not parry, for the original. Interesting.
That's funny.
I know. I wonder. I kind of wish I would have. I feel bad I didn't do more research on the differences between the original and the remake because I'm not sure how significant all the differences are. I do know one thing
I
that
got
they
one.
changed was the being able to travel to the other areas of the map. It is much more tedious in the original game, and not every area has a nearby fast travel.
warp
Yeah,
pipe.
so. So, like, when you had to find the commander White Bomb Mom, that was a pain in the
Oh,
butt for me.
gosh.
So, and
And
that felt
I
like
feel like they're
that felt
just
like so much
trolling you.
padding. Yeah, like I felt like
yeah,
it felt like the game had a lot of weird padding like that. Like they're like, oh, it's an RPG and it's only 15 hours long. Let's add 5 hours of ass for these people to smell.
let's make him walk everywhere. That's another reason I like the baby Yoshi was just running on his
Yes,
back.
I know. Almost
Um,
every cutscene I had him because I was always running. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, that's one thing I think I love about these games is that every partner has unique dialogue depending on
Yep.
who's with you for whatever interaction you have. So it made me kind of sad sometimes because it's like I always wanted like Goombella there and I never had her out.
Yeah.
So I missed
Yeah.
out on, I'm sure, a lot of her really funny dialogue. I usually had the baby Yoshi or Bobbery, just because he was very OP. So
There
When
was
he
a
thought he
badge.
was dying, and he wanted
Oh
a
yeah.
cola, and then you gave him a cola, and he was just like, "All right, I'm dead." And you're
Coca-Cola.
like, you ready now? You ready to go?"
I don't know if did Thousand Year Door come out before Superstar Saga because Chocola Cola is from Superstar Saga.
oh, is it?
Yeah, Thousand Year
I
Door
think Thousand Year Door's
release.
2004.
Yep. So I think that is Superstar Saga release date. Yep. So Superstar Saga was before.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There's a whole section of the game about Chocola Cola. It's from that game. So I thought that was a fun
Mm.
little
Oh,
Easter egg.
funny.
Um,
As a huge fan of Superstar Saga, do you think this is better or no? I'm curious.
No, so I think on in terms of like overall like presentation, writing, the music, all that kind of stuff, it's in the same ballpark. They're all that's one thing the Mario RPGs are all pretty consistent at. They always
Hmm.
have good writing, they have good music. Characters look fun, whatever. Um, I prefer the Mario and Luigi combat because it feels more dynamic. I feel like
Hmm.
in this game you basically just press one button to block, and that I mean, a lot of the attacks have a pretty consistent rhythm, in my opinion. You wait for them to show up in front of you, and then you block, and you take less damage.
Hmm.
But in like Superstar Saga, um, attacks have a little bit more complex. Like you can dodge them, some you can deflect, some you can do damage back to them. Some you have to dodge multiple times. I think it's just a little bit more going on in the Mario and Luigi combat in general.
Hmm.
Um, Paper Mario, I feel like it at the end of the day, it boils down to like block and then time a jump attack and then time a hammer, which are all pretty simple things. And I like the bro attacks better in the Mario and Luigi series rather than like the special. I do like the special attacks in this game, but they have different like button inputs. That's a fun
Hmm.
little twist. But I don't know.
Tyler, have you ever played any of the other Mario RPGs or no?
No, other than uh, Super Mario RPG,
Which do you
but
prefer, just out of curiosity?
I probably enjoyed Super Mario RPG better.
Hmm.
I had a good time with that one. Like this one wasn't bad, other than the whole pacing issue. I mean, if it wasn't for the pacing, this would have been one of like the top Mario games I played.
Yeah, I always
But like
it's
it's still really
interesting
good.
because I wonder, how common of a sentiment this is. Because I feel like we all agree that it's like the first half drags and then it really starts to get good. It just takes a while. I wonder if that's a common sentiment that people have.
Or we're just chumps.
Maybe we are chumps.
Or they're chumps.
And maybe it is a lot of like rose-colored glasses of people playing this when they were younger and they had more time to just maybe they didn't even like when I know what I need to do and it makes it slow and tedious, it's annoying to me. Maybe as a kid I wouldn't realize immediately what to do, so I would naturally be slow and clunky.
Yeah, running
Um,
around everywhere.
but it's like when it just tells me to go here and talk to somebody, and it's like, okay, now go back to where you were and talk to that person, and you go back over here. It's like, okay, what are we doing here? Why am I doing this over and over again?
Mhm.
Um, but I don't know. The
Yeah,
game doesn't always respect your time,
no, I
but
like. I didn't like any of the Princess Peach sections really either. I thought those were all kind of tedious and not
yeah,
great as
give me
well.
just like the dialogue, and I do think it's funny. There's a bit where they keep making Peach go invisible and make her naked, and then in the last or in the moon base, you walk in on the shower and it's Peach there, and Mario gets all shocked, and it's just one of the X-Nauts. I
Yeah.
thought
That
that
was
was a
very
good. I
funny.
thought that was a good bit.
That was very funny. Yeah, I like.
But
It was very funny because a few days ago I just got a text from Tyler out of the blue that said the fucking moon, bro, like question mark,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that gave me a good laugh too.
I
I
was
thought
like,
that was
what?
fun.
It's like, I'll
Also,
tell you where we are. The moon. I was
a
like,
not
huh?
a not fun thing that the game did that was quirky was how slow you walked on the moon getting to the base. I thought that was super annoying
Mm.
too.
If there was like one screen, it would have been one thing, but it's like walk right four screens. Like, what are we doing? Like, come on.
And then the enemies are faster than you, so it's hard to avoid
Yes.
them. And that was just a weirdly unfun like 15 minutes. So I was just like,
Yeah, and I
can
had
you
to like
not
I
do
had to go
this?
use Captain Bombery to like break all the rocks. It was just like basic items the whole time.
And I
I
was like, oh,
was like,
Yeah.
I know. I was like, where's like a cool badge or something that's like an actual reward here? But
yeah.
But I mean, I haven't played that many Mario RPGs or finished them, I should say. I've played some Superstar Saga, I've played some Super Mario RPG, haven't finished them, but I have beaten the original Paper Mario, and I do think I still prefer that one, unfortunately. Um, I don't know, I just felt like it didn't have the pacing issues, but it still had all the other great stuff, fun partners, really good music, fun locations, very good, funny writing. So, in terms of the OG Paper Mario role playing games of the Paper Mario series, since there's some games
Real
that aren't.
quick,
Yeah,
since you mentioned Paper Mario on the N64, I want to throw in a little fun fact, another fun fact.
of course. Give us a
So
fun
all the
fact.
partners from Paper Mario 64 were actually supposed to make an in-game appearance,
Hmm.
but most of them were cut from the game. The only ones who make an appearance are Parakarry at the beginning of the game
Hmm.
and Lady Bow after beating the game. She will be in Poshley Heights.
Yes, I didn't go and see her, but I did read that, and that I thought was fun because she was one of my favorite partners in that game. So, but they didn't make her green enough. She's like a white boo in
Huh.
N64. They whitewashed my girl. She was green in the OG, so justice for her. But yeah,
Yeah,
original Paper Mario. I think if you're only going to play one of them, I would suggest the original. But I still enjoyed this. So
yeah, I don't know. I haven't played original Paper Mario in a couple of years, and I have similar feelings about that one. Just as far as like, I like the combat, but it feels to me I really just prefer the Superstar Saga combat. So
hmm
this Paper Mario stuff just feels a little too slow for me. And
hmm
like I said, I'm a numbers. I like seeing numbers get big, so I don't love that numbers stay relatively low this whole game. You're doing
hmm
a lot of like single digit number damage,
hmm
which helps with balance things, but. Um, Yeah, this one, I guess I don't remember how I felt about the pacing of Paper Mario N64, but this one was definitely one of the negatives was the pacing of this game. A little slower.
hmm Yeah, I don't know. It's just I feel like I have an interesting relationship with this game in my mind because it's such a beloved, GameCube game especially, but Nintendo game in general. This is the RPG. The Jesus of JRPGs for hardcore Nintendo fans. It seems like they all love it. So it almost
Yeah,
feels like I'm missing something still that I don't like it more. I don't know.
it's still a really good game. It's just I feel like if there was 30% less of it, I would like it more. Like
Yeah, and
um,
I mean, we all love our JRPGs. We all love our very long games, but they don't, they don't all have to be that either. So there's
yeah,
plenty of short, great JRPGs. I've mentioned before, Panzer Dragoon Saga, absolute like banger, one of the greatest games ever made. You could beat it in like 11 hours.
yeah.
Sometimes that's okay.
That's how Mario RPG is. I think I beat
Yeah,
Mario
it was
RPG
pretty
Remake
short.
in like 12 hours. It's really quick.
hmm
But
Yeah, so I guess it really is just a pacing thing, and I wonder if that's just I feel like that's just also the most popular Paper Mario game too. So, a lot of people don't like Super Paper Mario. Those people are wrong. That's still a fun game. And then Sticker Star seems like nobody likes Sticker Star. So, I got it
yeah,
at release, and I don't remember liking it either. But I never finished it. So, but that's the one that everyone really likes to shit
the
on.
best one's Origami King.
Do you like Origami King?
Or, I like it fine. No, I'm just the combat in that one was very tedious and yeah, but
I need to play me some Color Splash. Hook up the Wii U.
oh no,
Dust off
a
my
sentient bucket.
yeah, you gotta dust off the Fisher Price gamepad to play that one.
Yeah,
We did get one write-in of a audience member opinion on the game, so I'll go ahead and read that for you guys. So Jason wrote in. He said, "Hello again. This is Jason. I'm going to give my thoughts on Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake. I myself always thought this was one of my favorite out of the series, and the improvements that they added was a nice touch, such as the party member quick select and fast travel. Yeah, so neither of those are in the original. There's no party member quick select. You have to go to the pause menu, go to the party
ooh,
member, and then swap through it, select them. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Only really felt tedious in the final dungeon where you actually have to swap through the partners to kind of get through. You can't just use
yep.
whoever you want, so it didn't bother me too much. But anyway, where did I leave? I always liked both the first Paper Mario and this one, as the later Paper Mario games started to stray away from turn-based combat, and each other game just seemed like more of an experiment game, and each one was different. I'm looking at you, Sticker Star. Overall, I really enjoyed this game's story. The characters and the aesthetic of the game is right up there with any great Nintendo franchise. Now Square Enix just needs to take a lesson from Nintendo, as this is how you remake a game. I'm sure you boys know what I am talking about. Always has to take a shot at Final Fantasy VII Remake, just to spite you.
Even capitalized remake, which is I thought was funny.
But yeah, you know what? I can't believe none of us really mentioned that, the aesthetic of this game. How do you feel about the whole Paper Mario aesthetic and how they do it?
I
I
love
like
it.
when they play. I like when they play on it, like little things like walking through an alleyway sideways.
Mhm.
Like stuff like that's funny. Turning into a paper boat or a paper plane was fun. But
Or a little rolling piece of paper going in.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it is definitely a great aesthetic, and I do think it's funny when they play with the flatness aspect of it all. So it's a good time. So yeah, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I think we could all say a little overrated, probably, but still worth playing.
yeah.
I
would
don't want to
say
speak
so. I
for
mean,
you guys, but that's how I feel. I think it's a little overrated, but I still think that it is a good time if you can trudge through the first half.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much agree.
So
First half a little slow, second half gets great.
mhm. That final boss, pretty dang good. You'll find
Yeah,
out.
man.
I mean, one of us still hasn't even beaten it yet, so who really knows how we truly
Yeah,
feel
who
about the
knows?
game?
I'm 3/4 the way through the last boss, so that last quarter better amp it up. We'll see.
Oh, I do need to do a slight spoiler because I doubt you're going to do any post game stuff anyway. So they do find a treasure after you've beat the final boss. They're all very excited about it. And during the end credit scene, when they're like, they do like a whole "Where are they now?" thing, which I always think is fun when any movie, game, whatever does that. And Goombell is like, "Hey, you'll never guess what was inside the treasure chest. I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to come back and find out." And that's what made me load up the game. Was I was like, I have to know what's inside the treasure chest. So I loaded up the game, and you go back to the professor's house, and you're like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, you want to know what was inside the treasure chest? It was just a dried up mushroom."
Nice.
So that was the treasure. And he goes, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, you're underwhelmed? Well, it's still cool to know that they ate mushrooms 10,000 years ago, huh?" and that's it.
Speaking of the
Nice.
professor, real quick, I got like one last fun fact I want to say.
Of course.
So they kind of like hinted at Vivian joining your party, like in the beginning of the game, because after fighting the Siren Sisters in the Bogley Woods, you could find Vivian's tattle information in Professor Frankly's trash can, which tattles only appear in the trash can for one-time battles. So it's pretty much saying you only battle her one time.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So showing that. Yeah. So that was going to be. I think that's all.
I
the ones
assessed
I can
everybody,
mention.
so the trash can was always empty for me. I was always tattling.
Gotta be a tattletale.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Goombell is
They were
goated.
also
Goombell
when
and
the
Vivian.
sisters were like color coded with their magic. If you didn't realize, Vivian was fire, the
Oh,
blue
yeah.
one was
Yeah.
ice, and Marilyn was the green
Sounds
or
right.
yellow one.
Mhm.
The electric.
Yeah.
Said the Spanish one. Said that one. Oh, and then also when you're talking to Luigi, shout out to Luigi going on his little side quest while you're doing a whole game. Also becoming grass, which is one of the greatest ones ever. Admiral Bobbery is the only partner that doesn't fall asleep to Luigi stories. A good seafarer loves a good story. So
That's funny.
Ah, Nice.
Yeah, did you guys experience all of Luigi's long tail or no?
All of them but the last one. I didn't go back and do the last
yeah,
one.
I
got it booted up.
I don't know. I did it and I read the first one. I was like, that was pretty funny, and then I just never read the rest of them. And then I was gonna watch on YouTube the entire story that he tells you, and then it was like half an hour, and I was like, I'm good. I was like, it wasn't half
There's
an hour
another-
funny.
There's another NPC in Rogueport that'll give you like world lore. They'll tell you stories about like things that happen in this world. They're on top of one of the roofs. You have to pay them
Yeah.
though.
Oh yeah, I remember what you're talking about. I did come across them.
Yeah.
So shout out to Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Any closing thoughts?
Glad I finally played it and I can have an actual opinion on it other than playing it a couple times at a friend's house.
Tyler?
I mean, same here. Glad I enjoyed it. Glad I played through it and I enjoyed it. The tail end of the game, the back half.
Yeah, this
First
was
half
on.
was still good, like we said.
Yeah, this was on my backlog for a very, very long time, especially
If-
being a big GameCube fan. I always felt like it was a big hole in my knowledge of the library. So I'm glad to say that I finally have beaten it. So shout out to Paper
If
Mario.
we had to give it a point rating out of 10, what
Point
would you
rating.
guys say?
A 7.
Yeah,
It was pretty
I'd
good.
say like a 7.5. A
Like
7.5.
if we're
Like,
talking like true numbers, like 5 is truly average, then I'd say a 7.
I was thinking like 7.5, 8. But
Yeah.
You know, maybe if I didn't skip through important dialogue, I would have had better badges and done some side quests. But I don't know how much that would have swayed my opinion.
or if we knew that we could, well, I mean, you couldn't, or if I knew I could parry.
Yeah.
So that was like, huh?
That might have made a difference
I
too.
didn't use it much. It didn't seem like it was very good, but it is there.
Interesting. Yeah, I like the lighting that they did for the remake too. It looked very good. Whenever I would see gameplay of that set,
It's a
it was
pretty
very,
game.
very pretty.
Yeah.
It's very flat in the original, which is fine, but it definitely looks a little bit more. I don't know how to really say it, other than like I guess like epic, I guess, or ambitious looking in the remake.
They do a good job of adding depth to a intentionally 2D art style in the remake.
Yeah, so shout out to Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Will it be one of our top GameCube games when we talk about our favorite GameCube games next week? Probably not, but who knows? I
Probably
guess
not. Yeah.
we'll see when it
For
comes.
second to top 5, yeah, most likely not.
Exactly. But I enjoyed talking to you guys about it today. It was very fun. Zach, any closing thoughts for, just in general, want to say goodbye to everybody? Promote any of your
it
new
was fun.
stuff. You've been putting up some good content lately, so
Oh, I guess got to get back to just grinding through any game that isn't Persona 3 Reload. But
fair enough. Keep the bit going. Tyler, would you like to say goodbye?
Goodbye, everyone. Remember, our next gaming episode in 3 episodes is going to be one of the greatest games ever, Ape Escape. If you guys want to start playing it now, it's relatively short, but, if any of y'all want to get through it, because I know sometimes starting games early doesn't mean you're going to finish them first. We learned firsthand.
That's true.
So,
the first one to start Paper Mario still hasn't finished it, so.
Yep.
But
either way,
I platinumed Ape Escape in a weekend, so it's definitely not difficult.
yeah.
Nice.
Great game. Everybody play it. And then you can talk along with us and do a little write-in. But other than that, great episode. Maybe pretty soon I'll have a whole channel and a video up. We'll see.
Very exciting.
Maybe by next episode. We'll see.
He's going to be talking about the top 100 N-Gage games, even though there isn't 100 N-Gage games to pick
Even though
from.
there's 55, we're going to put 45 in there.
The other 45 will be canceled games that never came out, so... Yeah, so thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share with your friends. I have a new video up as well about Rare Player's Choice games, so if you care about useless and not expensive but rare cool video games, check that out. And we'll see you all again in 2 weeks to talk about our favorite GameCube games. Take care.
Adios.
Bye.